Hey guys, how we doing? I'm going to try 15 plus 10. Although, not feeling 100%. Only had a few hours sleep last night. Got a friend who's by her father's bedside. I've been staying up chatting a lot during the night. Father's dying of dementia, unfortunately. Okay, so it started with an English. I'm expecting d4 to come at some point. I could carry on fianchetto here. My opponent, being an English player, is likely to know what to do much better than me, but let's go ahead and... okay, so it's a King's Indian now. Anglo-Indian, anyway. Okay, so he's got the fianchetto in. I could castle, but there's no threat right now. D6 makes sense if e4 ever comes. Can't play e5. Don't know about c5 either. I'm going to castle and see what happens. Opponent is from Japan by the look of it. Creek so. Okay. So, we've got the symmetrical structure. This would make it completely symmetrical. Rook e8 is a thought. I'd like to get this bishop out somewhere, and I can't put it here because my opponent's got the fianchetto in first, so he just moves his knight, and then I can't put my bishop there because I lose bishop and rook. Play rook e8. Hostilities haven't really opened yet. Okay, so we have d4. If this, I've got nowhere to go with the knight. I don't think I want to play e6. And he's got double eyes on e5. So d6 makes sense. You know, moving a light squared and a dark squared pawn at this point. Okay, this looks all pretty normal. There, he's got two attackers, I've got two defenders. So here takes is playable. Now if knight c6 here, I could get kicked out, but that is slightly weakening for my opponent. And I can come into here. Is bishop g4 just too early? Will I get kicked? If I get kicked, what am I going to do? I'm not going to come back there because I get trapped. Move a6 is possible, just taking a square away from this knight. Even a5, maybe preventing b4. Throw in a5. Again, really, the armies haven't made contact. Okay, opponent's gone for the big centre. Makes perfect sense. Now I have this. I could even trade off. But you've got to figure out what you're going to do, right? If you play a pin and then it's contested, or you're asked a question, you have to know what you're going to do. Can't take there, it's defended. Is e5 playable now? Takes. Could have a trade of queens. Then if queen takes, I can only take back with a rook, and then this pawn on e5 will hang, won't it? There, takes. I've got a pawn that's defended only by the rook. So it'd be nice if that knight wasn't there. Knight f d7 is a possibility. If I was to push b7 to b6, I could face this, but the bishop's still locked in for now. Let's say I do this, they push, takes. Same issue though, isn't it, really? Which is if the queen's straight off, then that pawn hangs. I've got knight gd7. Takes. I can just take. I think I can get away with that. Takes. Hang on. That's not right, because my rook isn't defending. If I haven't pushed a e5 myself, There, okay. Now is it time to push e5? Takes. Yeah, I think so. Takes, I can get my knight in there. If he takes my knight, I can take that with a pawn, we trade queens. I think knight in makes more sense, right? It's hitting this pawn that's undefended. If he takes, I've even got the option to take with a rook as well. Okay, he's pinned my knight. I can move my queen off the pin. It's no biggie. There is a hanging pawn. Still have this as well. Could take out the knight. This is a good knight, you know. Both these knights are, but it feels like e5 is the contest square right now. The bishop here kicks, takes there. This pawn's then undefended. Bishop takes here, I can take back with bishop or queen. It feels like this is the kind of position that's been reached a million times. Probably not a million. Probably in the hundreds of thousands. Maybe I should have taken the pawn while it was on offer. Might be having a lesson later on today with Mike. So it's a good opportunity to go over this game. Okay, I'm going to trade here. Bishop takes, I can even take there as well. Right, but again, the pawn is still hanging, but I like the fact now that this pawn is undefended. So Queen d7 now comes with a threat, so it's a tempo move. King needs to move, or the bishop moves back. If I take there, queen takes. Or there's still a hanging pawn. But then he's got this, hasn't he? Which both attacks my knight and attacks b7. So I think that's the problem with this move. c6 is a thought here. c6 blunts this bishop and also takes away both of these squares from that knight. There pushes. My knight's pinned. I can't have that. I think I need to maintain this blockade. So I'm going to play c6. Opponent's playing much quicker. He's still over 15 minutes. I'm down in under 11 minutes, but it's okay. I'm happy with my pawn structure. Okay, he's defending the pawn, which maybe it was necessary now because of this move. You know, just protecting b7. So I like the idea of queen d7 now. It's going to force him to respond. He can't block with the bishop because I've got all my knights looking at that. Or he might lift his king. But now this knight is free to move around the cabin. Okay, he's moved the bishop back. Alright, now. Also notice the other thing about the move b2 to b3 is it's opened up this diagonal potentially for my bishop. So I'm starting to think about maybe ideas of moving both knights out of the way with pressure on the knight and pressure on the rook. The question is how to achieve that and when to achieve that. This will force the bishop to make a decision. Either it has to take and trade. Can't move back to there because it gets trapped, right? But you've got to have a really good reason to want to push one of these pawns because you will create a weakness anytime you do that. Opponent has the bishop pair, so it kind of suits me to keep the position closed. Rook a d8, again, is walking it into a pin. But I can, as we've said, neutralize the pin. Okay. Loads of time. My knights feel a bit awkward. The other thing about h6 is it gives my knight the h7 square. Maybe to move back to here. Maybe to put pressure on this. So let's think about this. If I do this, he takes no more bishop pair. My bishop's still active, and I've removed one of the knights from the file. I also have ideas of maybe king h7 if I want to just add another defender to both of these pawns. It's definitely possible. So I've got the same pawn structure now on the king side. Okay, he moves back. There are two squares that my knight could go to attack that bishop, but neither is available right now. Okay, pawn breaks. It's not really on. This one, still not sure. I think it might be time to improve this rook. Let's play rook a d8. Just lining up the queen. I feel like this is. Ooh, I was about to say this is the key pawn break for white. Is my knight trapped? Looks that way, doesn't it? Bugger. Does look that way. I did not see this. I've got this and pawn takes. Queen can't take, right? This pawn takes. I can take back. Or I can let him capture the knight. Yeah, so there we go. That's just, you know, that is the tactical mistake that inevitably comes at some point. I think this is probably my best try here. Pre-move the recapture with the knight. So I'm down 2 materials. But this hangs and so does this. I'm hitting this bishop, which is defended only by the rook. The rook would then defend the knight on c3. This is his immediate problem. So I just failed to look at tactics for my opponent as well. Okay, so he's got, you know, quite forward pawns. He's disconnected. Well, that won't do. You've just won material. So what's he going to do here? Knight can't go there or there. He could stick it on the side of the board. But this is the problem. He moves the knight, the rook falls. And the material's actually equalized again. And that's where you see the power of the fianchetto bishop. You know, it's on the long diagonal. Any fianchetto bishop, whichever diagonal it's on, is very often looking at a rook. Okay, he's come back online, that's fine. But he's still got a problem here. So I think he has to defend the knight, doesn't he? Something like that. Could use his queen, could bring the bishop back, he could play rook c1. Bishop here, there is a check, because that blocks the queen's view of this. King would have to move. Yeah, he can't block again with the bishop, because I've got 2 eyes on that from here. So the bishop there I don't think is workable. So I think it's a case of either rook c1, which isn't the best place for the rook, behind his own pawn, okay. And there was a third possibility we hadn't even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. Okay, if I take, queen takes. It's not looking clever. This bishop's doing a good job of defending the infiltration points around the king. So, no, not good. I have f6. It weakens my own king to some degree. My knight's defended there. I don't want to move this pawn, because that just weakens this and his bishop's still strong. So I think this is a good move. f6. Also, I don't really want to trade a bunch of material either. So it ain't looking too clever right now. I think I'm just going to push h5. Let him trade on his terms if he wants to. I can put my king on h7 maybe. Yes, I'm still down a bishop for a pawn. So I've got 3-3. This is my extra pawn. It's not a bad pawn, but literally where's it going? Right? It just can't advance because my opponent's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of eyes on there. Okay, now we're just looking to trade more. That pawn's undefended. Can I do this? Takes. At least activate my queen. I don't know. It feels a bit hopeless, to be honest, guys. I feel like I played the opening pretty well, but I think I'm stuffed now. Okay, now I'm kind of thinking, is this leaves the h-file blocked up? This opens the h-file. I can get a rook to the h-file. Opponent can't do that. Then my queen can't really get in very easily, can she? But I think that's my best hope right now. Takey, 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 takey. Maybe queen, actually, here. Yeah, if takes, takes rook, queen takes rook. I then have queen h5, the possibility of coming in. Swing this rook across. Might get a cheeky one in. But like I say, it ain't good. My queen can't get to the h-file. He's keeping that under lock and key. Makes sense. Nothing for it, really. Might even have ideas of doubling up on h. I mean, right now, his advantage is he's got a knight. Okay, the bishops are all off. Neither king is what you might call safe. We've got tension on the e-file. Okay, now it'd be great to drop my queen in here. Can I do this? That's possible. There's no check there. Oh, he's got check there though, hasn't he? I come here. I think I might get away with that. Check. If he checks here, I've got this. The knight can't touch my king, it's on the wrong colour. The rook can't come in. The queen's still defending that. If my queen moves, it moves with check. And then the king has to go onto the dark square. h2 is probably out of bounds because it gets checked again and may well lose. But the problem with this move as well, so I'll just move out of the way, is the queen then prevents queen c6 check. He might also move in with his knight, gaining the outpost for his knight, which again is not fantastic. There's no queen g8 check, can't go here, here or here. But now he's blocking off that diagonal here. This is still a possibility now. Maybe infiltrate with the queen. Forces the king to one of these squares. If here I've got takes with check. If here, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves a bit. I've got check here. Then win the pawn. This pawn's defended by the rook. This pawn would... okay. Right, there's nothing for it. I just have to go for it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And this is what I have to do at 1600 level, is not hang pieces. To obvious traps. Take, queen takes check here. Queen can't take there. If I come here, there's no check there or there with the queen. I think that's probably it. Here, there, here. I mean, right now his knight isn't doing much. He could, however, just capture here, but then that does give me some counterplay. You've got to fight for it, haven't you? Anything in life is worth fighting for. Also notice this rook is... oh, yeah. This rook is on the move. That's what this rook is. Okay, I think I've only got one square for my queen, haven't I? This would just force... no, I would lose material. Yeah, opponent's playing well. Having said that, I've got two attackers on here now, so what's he going to do? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. He could just retreat the rook. Might end up with a trade of queens. He said that. If he retreats, I could trade off on my terms. If I trade queens, it breaks his pawns slightly. But he's still going to be up a knight for a pawn in the ending. We're all closed on the king side. I've got an extra pawn, but it's kind of backwards and can't really force through, so yeah, this ain't good. Okay, how do we recapture? This comes with the possibility of a check, but then so does this. Are there any good checks? Rook check, no. This hangs. That's defending that, but it's attacked twice. Yeah, I think it's queen takes, but you know, like I say, it's losing. It's a losing position. All I can just try is for some kind of cheap shot. One lapse of concentration is all it takes. I don't think he's got any good checks. He can't check there, he can't check there because of my pawns, right? The knight can't do anything. The rook can't come back over. The rook can't give check. So he kind of needs to stop this, right? Because if I get that in, then this is all no, 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 right? So if I get this check in, he's only got two legal moves. Right, there we go. There we go. I don't know about trading queens. Really don't. But I've not got much. Let's get it over with. Maybe play another one. This is a check, potentially winning a pawn. I'd imagine he's going to trade. I could get my rook behind the passed pawn. Yeah. No, this has got to be like +7 or something now for white. +15. Yeah, but these pawns just aren't great. We'll resign that one. Let's have a look, right? Because we're all here to learn. I felt like I was doing all right. 86 for my opponent. No blunders though. 2 mistakes. That's all it is. 2 mistakes in that game. I played 1600 rating, which is exactly kind of where I was at the start of the game. My opponent just played a bit better in the middle game and played at 1950. What can you do? Okay, this is all book. Kind of unintuitive. So if he takes it, what do? Do I take that with the knight? My machine says queen, and it's practically equal. Oh, now it says no, knight was better. Go figure. If I take with the knight, you'll say knight. So knight was fine. Okay. Knight in the middle of the board. Yeah, I mean, look, nothing really. So here I was fine. Yeah, I didn't like that move from white, but this is a mistake. Saying h6 was the way to go, and I was fine if h6. All right, well, let's do one more. See if we can get back to 1600. We'll have a look. Okay, we've got a 1643 now, again with the black pieces. Okay, so we're going to play Nimzovich, which is a rare start. Okay. And now, what is it? Is it e5 now? I should know this. 5 of takes. There's d5 takes with queen. No, it's e5. And then, because I remember, because you can transpose into a Scotch. If knight f3, for example, we're in Scotchland. Okay, this is the link Springer variation. So this is the Kennedy, right? I think d5 is the move that's played more often at master level. But this, I'm unconvinced by. Because now what we're doing is we're going into the same structure as we get with the Black Knight's Tango. Okay, it's attacks his pawn, so this now to defend the pawn. Okay, bishop's going to want to come here. I'm assuming c4 might come at some point. So you get this in the Black Knight's Tango, and you get it from the Van Geet as well, from the white side, but a tempo up. So this is one of the things I'm liking about this new repertoire of bringing out the Queen's Knight first, because you get the same kind of patterns both ways, and we're playing more, let's not say classical, because we're not playing e4, e5 or Sicilians, or, you know, it's still offbeat, but the structures that we're getting are more grown up, at the very least. Apologies, I've left WhatsApp going. Alright, so now we just bring out this knight. Corvair Vase from no one knows, probably Russia, because they've put in the whatever it is. What do you call it when you censorship? That's what it's called. But sport has often been political, hasn't it? It tries to rise above politics, you know, like with the, was it the Lions Tour of South Africa? Was that in the 80s? Okay, h3. I think we just carry on with plan A, you know. d6, get the bishop outside of the pawn chain, play d6. This bishop will then have options, it might just hang. Okay. I have a square for my knight, actually. Hits the bishop and threatens this. Might be the right move. It might be the right move. I could just play d6 to open up the bishop. He's blocked in this bishop as well, and it doesn't really have a happy home there. I think d6. Computer may disagree, we'll find out later. This is good to know. Mike, pay attention. I'm sure we'll be going over this game later. If I get it uploaded in time, that is, by the way. Okay, so, right, second knight move. Now, I can just drop back to b6. So we could go straight in with this idea. You take, I take with check, you have to move your king. But what's the point? I could also... There's a possibility... No, there's no sense to that either. I think we'll just drop back. So we've both wasted a second move. Okay, now in the last game, the computer said trade, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, at least put the question here. I could take him out, leave his knight on the rim. I'm not convinced with White's play so far. I think it's solid. He's got this extended centre, so he's got the space. I'm generally really happy with this. This double knights in front of your king is generally safe as houses. Okay, alright, so we have the option, and plus that is his good bishop, because his central pawns are on light squares, right? So this bishop can't touch any of these pawns ever, 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 unless something moves. So if I take knight takes, he can't go in there. I am tempted. There, knight takes. Now my queen's then lined up with that bishop. So do I have a free move there? Let's take it. I feel like my opponent somehow is outside of his happy place. See this now, okay, I'm threatening the knight, but I've also got two attackers on f2. And I'm winning a pawn. If he takes, I take, and I've got queen and bishop lined up against f2. Doing it. Doing it, mate. Interesting. Yeah, what I was just saying is, also this is undefended now, by the way. So that's good. Goodbye, big old centre, isn't it? Yeah, I was just saying that it feels like my opponent wasn't quite in his comfort zone, somehow. I can't put my finger on why. Just like prodding at moves. And that's as scientific as it's going to get from me. Okay, if he takes, I recapture, I'm a pawn up. And I'm hitting the bishop, and I'm hitting that. And this bishop, being on a light square, being a light square bishop, can't do nothing to defend f2. Also, f3 isn't playable to defend the bishop, because he'd be putting himself in check, because he's in a pin, isn't he? Make it blue. His pawn is pinned, can't move. This is an unpleasant position. So this is now 7 weeks without coffee, carbs, sugar. I mean, there's been the odd, bit of sugar added to the odd thing, like sauces and stuff like that. The odd bite of chocolate. But no, I've been off the carbs. No coffee. Well, half a cup. I've had 2 sips of coffee because we got some beans in and I wanted to test it. Okay. But this is, I don't know if this is the lesser of two evils, really. Because you have a problem. You can't castle because the bishop falls. Is it queen e2 to defend both? I think it's queen e2. Then maybe I have f5, expanding myself. Good to expand yourself sometimes, isn't it? f5 is possible. I'm forcing the bishop back. Also blocks in my bishop to some extent. Sacking doesn't make any sense, does it? No. I could also castle and then f5. Putting my rook on the f file, that's more pressure. I'm expecting this move to come though. So this is a more kind of forward, front foot initiative taking move. However, he can always up the danger levels with g3 himself. In which case my queen is relatively safe. And the same goes if I've pushed f5. I'm liking my bishop here. So f5 kicks. I've got options. I can retreat to many, many places. I think f5, it's like crying out, isn't it, really? Even g5 at some point. Maybe if I get my queen back behind my own lines. But I am a pawn up. And I've got the bishop pair. Okay, and we've had a conversation in the comments. You know, the intermediate level, beginner level, the bishop pair, very often meaningless. I get it. What are you going to do? You can't castle out of trouble because I've still got double eyes on f2. And by the way, the bishop's still hanging. Duh. Bishop's also the only defender of this. Bishop goes back there. I mean, I'm not attacking that though. That's the other issue. You've got to like black's position here. Okay. This prevents long castles, which I kind of like. Here, and he pushes up. Does that benefit me or him? Here he can't attack the queen again. Or here, right? But again, it ain't the prettiest move in the world. I'm inclined to play queen e7, just for no other reason than it defends these pawns. This one's currently defended once, this one's not defended at all. Queen e7's kind of flexible, because I might be able to come out to this diagonal. So that is what we shall do. Just trying to keep everything tight. Bishop d7, I've got long castles. I've even potentially got short castles, but these pawns are already off the mark. That doesn't actually mean much, because these pawns could have jumped 2 squares at any time anyway. Now he can long castle. And he has opted for something else. Now, e4 blocks the bishop's defense of this pawn. That's a curious move. Is he thinking of short castling? What's the point of this move? I'm just tempted to play this. I mean, it's my only way to get the bishop off the back rank. I've got queen here targeting this pawn. He's always got c4. I like having these 2 pawns here, though. I feel like they could be troublemakers. I'm going to lift the bishop now. Got options of castling either way. Okay, he goes long. You know, yes, I have a check. And then this pawn would be pinned if I move the queen. So should we long castle ourselves and then just storm the king side? I like the fact I've still got a dark squared bishop. King's here, big old diagonal. Yeah, I think this is the plan, man. This is the plan. Is to exert my authority with my extra pawn. This guy's weak now, and you can see, you know, why this kind of, you know, advance earlier on may have been problematic. Okay, he's burned a move, moving the king off the dark squares. Get that. This bishop just be chilling. Now I'm very tempted to push g5 now. Also tempted to centralize my rook somehow. Maybe rook hf8. g5 immediately. yeah, I just think my rooks just belong here. I don't think, because of the distance between us, right? There's a lot of space in the middle of the board. There's nothing really, there's no engagement right now. Right? The troops have retreated behind their own lines, and now we're kind of regrouping, right? So it's time to, but what that means is that tempo isn't as critical. Same as if you've got a very closed position, tempo becomes less critical. So then, what should you focus on? You should focus on improving your pieces. And I think that having my rooks on these squares, preparing for these guys to just come and bring it, is the general plan. It's not much of a plan, but it's a plan. Okay, he does the same. Still, this move is kind of hanging there. But remember, I can't then do this because you've got two attackers and a queen's only defended once by the rook. Is g5 playable? Even g6, I don't know. g5 and push make this big old wedge here. That's a big old wedge. Queen's still the only defender of the f2 pawn. Let's do what we said we were going to do, improving moves. This could be interesting as well, but the queen can still defend the pawn by moving to d2. This knight can't come here or here right now, or here. Actually, it can come here. Can't, no, it can't. Bishop takes. Takes. I might want to get my queen off of the e-file, just in case of things like this. Then I have got, you know, my rook's well defended. It's defended twice. My queen's defended only once. So here, takes. I can't take because I literally lose material there. Right, he's done the same thing. Dude is literally copying my homework. What's this bishop doing? This guy I like. I approve of this guy. This is supposedly my good bishop. I'm thinking g5, but maybe his idea is this after all, right? So maybe we should be thinking about one of these moves. I don't see any point in queen g5. Not a major point. Here I'm hitting the pawn. Here, potentially lined up with b2. Here I'm also potentially lined up with f2. So, on balance, this is fine now. If here I just take the knight, this rook here is defended by bishop and rook, so I'm okay with that. Queen here would have defended the rook a third time as well. Oh, that's a slight surprise. Alright, if I take, we have queen takes, maybe king b8. This bishop's harmless, mostly harmless. He wants me to trade, doesn't he? I'm still liking this move though. This. Stick my pawns on a light squared chain rather than the dark squared chain that I was banging on about before. Here, if he takes, I can take back though, and that puts mucho pressure on here. The knight doesn't scare me right now. I mean, he can't do this, it's defended twice. So I'm not convinced of this knight move. Now this I like because it really blunts the bishop. But what if f3? F3 I could even push on, hit the queen. Is that the move? And it opens up this as well. Ooh, it's too tempting. Got to do it. I'm on 8 minutes, so I've still got heaps of time. Now, this pawn is well defended by queen and rook. I've got possibility of rook e5. But maybe queen f7, but that again is still only 2 attackers. He's got 2 defenders right now. Yeah. Maybe I should have played g5 already as well. Just to stamp my authority on the queen side, king side. So the kings are on the queen side, that's what it is. I'm sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. So maybe this pawn isn't the target. Okay, he's having another sniff around the bishop. I could just go here. Don't see any harm in that, actually. Puts it out of reach of the knight, right? It would take the knight 1, 2 moves even to attack the bishop. My bishop still defends a7. Lovely to gang up on this. He is actually defending b2 though with his knight now. But this bishop now might have found itself a role. Because right now it's sucking eggs, isn't it? Or just sucking. Could come here. I mean, it's slicing down the wrong side of the board because the king's over this way, isn't he? But having applied this light squared pawn chain here to blunt that guy, my bishop is also blunted unless it either uses this diagonal, which, as we've said, the way is shut. Unless I do something like that, bing, bash, bosh. But that's a long way away. Also, plus, I can't stick my rook on e5 straight away because of horse. The aforementioned horse. Apologies if you can hear the tumble dryer in the background. Okay. Now, b6 blunders a7. King here. So removing one defender of this has to be noted. King here. What's the knight doing? I think we're okay. The bishop's got no purpose here. The rooks are not involved in the attack unless his plan is to do some kind of lift, but that ain't going to happen in a hurry. And I've got a6. And I've maybe got this. But if that, he could trade off with a knight. And then lift his rook. It's worth thinking about. Notice, by the way, as well, he's just undefended that pawn with this queen move. I did not note that on the move itself. You should do that. You're going to need to do this, Benjamin. Right? This pawn hangs. This pawn hangs now on f2. Finally. Also have this potentially, but its knight still defends. a6 this. Knight can't go there because of this pawn. a6 bishop b5. What are you going to do? Give up your knight? a6 is a thought. Weaken some control over b6, but I don't know, I feel like we're doing alright here. We're doing alright here. Still hanging. And opponent's now using more time. He's down under 7 minutes now. So we still have to keep it tight. Keep it tight, but look out for aggressive moves. Okay. He improves the bishop. The new improved bishop. So I'm kind of inclined to this still. Even just forcing material off right now. See, my bishop's still a bit useless. Here? Yeah. Right, 30 seconds up on the clock. I don't believe that was a mistake. Oh, the pawn still hangs, by the way, with tempo. Ah! But it still hangs with tempo. Don't know in that last game, what I didn't look at was should I have taken the free pawn. But I think we worked out I couldn't. Okay, right, he's moved the knight back, and the reason is to defend the pawn. Now I'm just going to do this, I think, with tempo. That's a bit of a no-brainer. He's also defending this pawn as well. But he's kind of retreating, you know? He's guarding like that. This pawn is defended. I was going to say it's undefended. It's not. This pawn is still undefended, technically. So G6 or G5 looks good. This is well defended right now, actually. Queen can't go to these squares. Hello, hello. Is it time for G5? Ain't nothing going on but the rent with this pawn. And I don't want to be doing this and just giving away material. So I think I'm going to push G5 and just apply pressure generally. You know, just psychologically, just saying, I'm coming at you now. And I'm not going to give you an inch. Okay, this threatens to win a pawn. Can I just drop back to A7? Can I just take here with tempo on the rook and then drop back to A7? If I do this, what's he got? This bishop's undefended, but how can he attack it? He can't go there because pawn takes, and he can't go there because pawn takes. I think it's time to take the pawn, and maybe make the argument that the pressure has paid off. He's only got one square for rookie, rookie, rook. I don't think I can do this. I think it's just time to retreat the bishop all the way back to A7. Oh, hang on. Hold the phone. This. And notice, because of the square, the rook can't defend this pawn. Because the bishop guards all corners. And this is a common defensive motif. Now, but the question is, do I need my bishop in defense on this side of the board before we rush into anything silly? But the temptation of this is very great indeed. He's got knight here, threatening mate. This, I've even got that, you know, pinning the knight on the old rook. So if I go here, he goes here. Bang. A boomer, boomer, rang. He's still got queen and knight looking at b7. Huh. Does having my bishop on this side of the board do anything? I could drop it back here. Queen goes back there. He does this anyway. If I drop my bishop back, if we leave, I'm 2 pawns up, right? At this point in time, more pawns isn't going to win the game. This, queen can't go there, 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 there. So she's got that, which is, okay, sold, sold. Not losing is more important than trying to grab pawns. This might come as well, right? This now. The knight can't move anywhere with a major threat. I could just eliminate the knight. Do open up his bishop, and now that's a kind of a hook, for sure. Right. Hear me out here. Is b5 a dumb move? I just don't know. Or I could, you know, have an idea of just running away with a king. That's another random idea. 1, 2, 3. Stick a rook on here. Push pawns. Or we've got the idea of just moving back to the king side and saying, okay, I'm going to push my majority. That's also a thought. Am I in danger on the queen side? Well, I still like this though. Yeah, the bishop's doing bugger all where it is now, so let's throw that in. I am down on time. In 4.5 minutes, he's got 6. Right, so it's a question now of not making mistake moves. I can push this. That pawn's defended by the rook. Let's use my opponent's time a little bit to think here. So my bishops are looking at this action area, right? But so are these pawns threatening. Yeah, even Harry. So it might be time to try and start pressing this old advantage. The knight's going nowhere because he's going to lose a rook. Okay, there you go. Knight can't move with check. I don't want to trade off now. Here? Knight takes pawn, I take knight. Come on, let's put the hammer down. Got to learn to be more aggressive sometimes. It's very easy when you're playing somebody who's higher rated than you are, and this guy's like 50 points higher rated than me. 51 points higher rated. It's very easy to err towards the side of conservatism and caution. It's not the way to do it. Like yesterday's game, I played somebody higher rated. He agreed to a draw in the first game, which was very gentlemanly of him. In the second game, I was under the cosh, but I managed to slip a dagger between his ribs, you know, which was brilliant. Loved it. What a game. Okay, you've got a problem. Knight takes, you just lose your knight, and my bishop's free to return. And I don't think he can... Whoa! Do I take out the bishop first? Now, if I take out the bishop, he saves the knight. This hits the rook. It's got to be played. It's winning material. I mean, for goodness sake. No. Ooh, takes, I take rook, he takes rook. No, you just haven't got enough material now. You're down a piece, for goodness sake. Even if queen takes here. This, no, queen can't take, because you lose a rook. You're going to have to save your rook, so you're going to have to do this, right? Am I wrong? Actually, the bishop's defended. The bishop is defended. I've even got this. Can I defend the pawn? Not really. Got 4 minutes, he's got just under 5. But we are in a winning position. I'd love to get my bishop on this diagonal looking down at b2. I think my priority right now, see that's very tempting, or even this. Give up the pawn, I'm up 4 materials, okay? Or just this. Let's do that. Come on. Come on. No, he's not doing this. So again, a little bit of psychology. So I'm not scared. I'm not scared of you. You haven't got an attack over here. Not without a rook involved. Could I even do something like this? You know, drop a rook up here. My queen's got a thumb up a bum a little bit. That's a technical chess term. It's quite an advanced positional chess term. Takes, probably, and just push. So, interestingly as well, for those of you fans of Daniel Naroditsky, he started a new speedrun, but playing 5-minute blitz. Very interesting. Right. Hi, do we take? I think we take with this. The reason is I don't want to bring my bishop off this diagonal because I might just appreciate having some blocking power. That's all. Plus, I've got mucho... Okay, whatever. Can I do this? No. That's just pointless. I think I want to bring my queen in. So something like this. I'm hitting this pawn. Or I could just push. Push, push, push. Are you thinking of this and checkmating me here? I'm just going to put a stop to it. I've got 3 minutes 27, right? I'm in a winning position. I have the extra bishop. Right now, are you going to think of this? And try and checkmate me here? Well, can't I just wriggle out of that? I can't if the queen's there. But if the queen comes in, I can wriggle to here. But still I have quite a threat of my own. Okay, there we go. There we bloody go. Right. The queen wants to come to here. So 1, 2 is mate, right? If I do this now, queen comes here. That? Attack the queen. No, that just hangs the bishop, for goodness sake. That'd be silly. This? No. King here, queen here. She can't go there or there, right? The king here, queen here. King here, rook there is mate. That's the problem. And so's that. Am I in trouble? He's got mate in 2. This queen here doesn't help. This is all I can think of. Stopping the queen from going to a4. She can't get there because of this pawn and can't get there because of this pawn, right? Now it's a nail biter. I said he couldn't attack, he couldn't really threaten without lifting a rook. And he's lifted a rook. Got rook fe8 and this is a checkmate threat, and in fact it's a mate in 2, so he's got to defend that rook. So is this time enough to get in a serious threat? I mean, having the queen on there actually would achieve the same thing. But then giving this away also gives that away. But then that is a mate in 1 threat. The king takes. I come in. Ooh. This prepares this. I take the pawn with check. So you haven't got time for that. That actually loses the queen. He's down to 3 minutes. Gosh. Now, I imagine he's going to move the king out of the way. I can't sack a rook, can I, for this? Okay, king moves out the way. That is still mate. This is our problem. This deflects the queen away. That is mate in 2. And I haven't got this because of rook A mate. Maybe running away with the king was the correct move. I can't put more pressure on here. That's what I want to do. Here, 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 he mates me. I can't see any other option other than giving up the rook, but I don't even see how that saves me, to be honest. 1, 2, 3 is mate. 1, 2, 3 isn't quick enough. So he's doing to me what I did to my opponent yesterday. I had a great position, let my guard down and underestimated his attacking possibilities, and got sucker punched. Okay. And here we have a problem again. There he goes here, preparing to mate me. Now I have this though. I'm just going to have to try that because I'm down to less than a minute. But we don't mind losing games. Because the queen's moved away from the defense, from attacking the bishop, that's the point. Okay. Got this. Crikey, I don't know. There, queen just takes and is right up in my face. I'm thinking that's just on instinct. But it is, you know, brown alert for sure. There's no question about it. Pawn takes, I think I'm obliged to take back. Try and hide my king away. Maybe just try and survive long enough to push the f-pawn. Okay, that's alright. I have this. It's defended by the bishop. Queen can't take bishop because I've got 2 pawns to recapture. I want to try and push this guy. Maybe king c7. There. Check. Here. Mate. Oh no, it's not. Queen takes. Jesus. Right, that hits the queen. This is now very dangerous. I can actually block it with a rook to c8. Now if I take that rook, that's mate. I can't see how I can take it with the queen. Nice solid structure here, but this pawn is definitely a threat, major old threat. Hits the queen. These are the squares I'd like to get my queen to. So that's, I mean, it's a possibility. Or should I be cheeky enough from a draw? No, you don't want that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to hit your queen. And just kind of defend that square a little bit. From a draw again. No, that's the end of draw offers. Okay, here. think we live. Rook's defended by the queen. That drops the queen. The rook's actually also pinned, which is a major problem. Okay, this is desperation. There's no checks here, here, here. That's a check, though. Yeah. And I've managed to win the pawn of doom. Okay. I have that pawn, I think. Blimey, it's... yeah. And I'm actually up 2 pawns as well. I was up 2 pawns just now. That was good. Oh, I can't go there. Crikey. Right, this could be pretty dangerous. Because he's got that and that covered. My king's only got these squares right now. But he's got to be careful not to... Oh, only checkmates. Well done. Well done. That was a hoot and a holler. That was chess. Let's have a quick look. Hoping for nice accuracy. Look at this. Winning, winning, winning. And where was my blunder? The rucksack. There was something better. What was it? Never thought of that. Threatening that rook. Rook comes here. The queen hasn't got that square to go to. Oh, goodness me. And that's again where it all turns. We've had 2 games, guys. Both of which have turned on a single move. A bit disappointed with 68 accuracy and 1400. I thought that was a better game than that, but I played the opening very well, so I'm happy about that. 99.2. 99.2. And that was poor. Yeah, because he lost material that way. So really good start, just couldn't see it through. But we live, we learn, we grow. We have fun. That's the important thing. I got into a great position, and my middle game tactics are going to let me down. But, you know, that's why we're here, to improve. Right, well, that's all for one day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.